Good evening, everypony, and welcome to Commentary as Magic Stream on today, Sunday, July 17th, 2022. I'm, as always, Grand Pause.
Big Cheese. Arcat and
Sleepy.
Sleepy. Hi, Sleepy.
Ivory
I'm tired.
Starlight.
Hi, tired. I'm Splee.
You
In
suck
jokes.
tired.
No, you suck.
No, I sleep.
No, I
Flop.
Splee. Anyway, everyone's tired. No one is Splee, and many people in this chat are angry at Thorax.
Who's
As is right and proper.
well,
I feed on your tears.
now we got some. Okay, we'll get to the feeding on the tears, but we got some other stuff to talk about first. Specifically, we do have changeling tears. They're just the wrong changeling. But we also have the tears of a small child who is like boundlessly evil, and a certain. What is he? A centaur?
Technically he is a centaur, yes.
A centaur? Okay. Anyway,
Which then raises the question of what was Scorpion?
probably also a centaur? Wait.
No, he looked like a Minotaur dude. He was weird. He was on two hooves. I don't know. Anyway, and then, a bug. Whatever. Probably not relevant.
Bug. The bug is very relevant. It's the good kind of bug. But in case you didn't catch our drift here, we're talking about the Triad ban and subsequent reformation. So let's talk about that.
Sure. So we tried this out for OnlineCon last weekend, and it seemed to be relatively successful.
Yeah, and so the very short version of this is, you see these three dorks right here? Mostly the one on the left and the one up top. They're kind of good. Like, kind of so good that they needed to get smacked with the ban hammer.
And then brought down a little bit. Which they have been.
Yeah. Now, to avoid a repeat of last year's Continentals, where blue-yellow just goes and destroys everything.
You mean 2 years ago, Continentals?
Those were different?
They were. Last year was Living to Laugh. The year before that.
Yes.
Yeah. It's okay. Plague Time is malleable.
Subjective,
so,
yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, to avoid a repeat of one archetype that's been growing increasingly dominant, just eating the, entire Continentals, everything, these three went bye-bye. And then they got replaced with these three. And if you're curious, you can go read the details about the ban justification, but the long and short of it is that this is format warping. Farming just got dumb. Just as an archetype. And the key problem is those three dorks up top that we don't talk about anymore.
So now we have these three dorks down here on the bottom?
Yes.
Who are much more reasonable. Also, let the record show that Aura just referred to Chrissy as a dork.
I did. And Twilight's also a dork. She's adorkable.
That's fair.
Anyway, we broke tradition a little bit here and released this prior to OnlineCon, and in exception to the normal rule, OnlineCon used this despite the fact that it was only about a week and a half afterwards.
There had been discussion that had taken place in Discord for set design for some weeks prior, though, so it wasn't like this was the first time people had seen the proposed change.
Right. And it's also important to note that because of that, OnlineCon was able to be useful as a practice environment, if you will, for people interested in getting a taste of what Continentals is going to look like.
Maybe.
Probably.
Maybe.
You have to see one who can outsmart meta.
You have to see, yes, someone who can outsmart meta. Correct. And I think there's, I think we need to talk with the QA team because OnlineCon was kind of full of bugs.
There were, in fact,
Eh.
many bugs. The problem is they were the wrong kind of bugs.
I disagree. They were the right kind of bugs.
Were there really that many?
There were not. There were 2 bugs.
Which is, well, there were 2 of the wrong kind of bug, which is too many.
I mean, I think there might have been some like changing friends in draw decks, maybe.
Maybe.
I guess we'll find out.
Yep, let's take a look.
Yes, we will find out.
We had a good turnout, though. It was very good, both for limited and for constructed.
Yeah, I think we, it was on par with the last OnlineCon, and I think that was about on par with Babs, actually. So, yeah, not too bad.
We're going to be taking a look at the top 8 today.
Yeah, 8th to 1st. So let's go ahead and take a look at our 8th place finisher.
Okay.
Have to go scramble to see who this was.
This was Big Cheese, wasn't it?
I believe it was. Cheese,
Yes.
did you run this?
Are you sure?
Pretty sure.
Is it Applejack?
It is
It
in
is.
fact Applejack.
Then yes. This is what I ran. It's a great deck. It
It's using
likes
the,
to exhaust things.
It's,
all the things.
using the triad, which is swapped out during
Yeah.
play.
Yeah, not everything has been updated, but not sure what else there is to say about it. Like, it's, I guess, technically has a farm element, but the major point is that you just try to make it so your opponents can't really do whatever it is they want to do. Apple Bloom is really important. Turning all of your events into bailout is
Kind of
pretty
good. Just a little bit.
just a bit.
So what you're saying is never let under the weather go away.
No, what we're saying is if you play against this, get rid of Under the Weather immediately. And
Oh,
Apple,
no, I meant for Cheese.
Oh.
Cheese says never let under the weather go away.
yes, try to
Yeah.
keep Under the Weather forever and protect your Apple Blooms. Conversely, if you're playing against this, get rid of Under the Weather as fast as possible. Get rid of Apple Blooms the second they hit the field.
Basically.
That little filly's trouble.
Yeah. The Taken on Trust, or sorry, is that Taken? Wait, no, Turn the Tables. Sorry, Taken on Trust is the other card. Yeah, the Turn the Tables are here for farm, which there actually wasn't that much farm in the tournament. But I mean, they're pretty effective against farm.
There was a fair amount of farm.
There was some.
It wasn't like BabsCon levels, where it was almost every deck.
Yeah. And that really was designed kind of more for that meta, that inclusion. Although, like, I don't think it's a bad card.
KU in chat says if Desert Road combines with Under the Weather, you lose. I mean, you also need to have methods of exhausting. Desert Road doesn't exhaust.
Yeah. Desert Road just makes it a little bit harder. Like, Discord, it delays him by a turn. That's about it. Like, because Discord doesn't need to exhaust. It's just pay 1 and retire, or banish, or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, you lose the check your problem when he enters play, but if you really want that under the weather gone, it's probably still worth.
Yeah.
And then you flip into another one.
I mean, Blue is not super happy about Desert Road. Neither is Pink. It's an expensive card to get out, though, and high rec.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to drop this realistically in this deck before like turn 3 at the earliest.
Yeah. Turn 1 Desert Road.
Judge?
Disgusting.
I'm an adventurer. I banished.
In adventure, you can.
I'm an adventurer. I banished a Brayburn and also motivational speech. My main Grogard, or no.
Why
no,
are you making? You're making
Grogard.
it. Yeah, you're making this way too complicated.
I'm just playing Grogard, and I banished a Brayburn, and I'm starting on a second chance, and I'm going second.
Or you started with Buckball. Well, yeah, I guess you do need the third token, don't you? Whatever. Just don't worry about that.
Okay, we're not gonna worry about it. Anyway, so this deck had previously, in Adventure anyway, with like Bailout, just completely destroyed the blue farm field that was there. What were your thoughts going into this in core?
I think it's still pretty strong. It does suffer from not having a way to remove friends, and unless you get Desert Road out, friends that interplay are pretty dangerous. Like, because things do get readied, and maybe you can build up enough of a board state, but like your your Apple Blooms and Fat Dude. What's his name? Grover.
Fat Dude?
Yeah, he's a little thing.
Literally the first time I've ever heard Grover referred to that.
They are very quick targets for removal. So,
I mean, Apple Bloom especially, right? We've seen just how good that card has become over the last few sets, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like, if you are allowed to set up, it's pretty effective. And even if not, like, you can buy some time. Although, again, you can't sit there and control 1 point per turn. You do have to, like, gain control and then pretty quickly start beating up troublemakers. You have a limited budget of events to with immediate speed exhaust.
True. Next list.
Next list. Let's see. This is. I lost the tab. Where'd it go? There it is. I should know this one. Because I actually recently played this in live gameplay. This is Joshington's list. Rather couch potato-y. Got some mono yellow going on here. And also some fast.
And some troublemakers.
Guard Geese is one of the most interesting cards to me in this deck. It does a lot.
It does quite a bit, yeah.
Guard Geese is very good.
There's also Birds of a Feather.
That thing is horrifying.
That thing is funny.
This is Krenko?
Yes. I think Bugle made a comment on the recorded gameplay video from last week of, wait a minute, Fluttershy exhausted. She's not supposed to be able to exhaust. Why did she get the chance to exhaust? She's supposed to die the instant she hits the field.
Yep. Or be perma-exhausted.
Yep.
But,
yeah, she did.
Yeah, no, if she gets to turn sideways, it's pretty impactful. Especially if she gets to do it a second turn.
Birds! Fly, my pretties.
I mean, yeah, at some point you double confront, and now you're down to, like, 4 maximum, but... I don't think this has the card that makes critters not count against your home limit.
It does not. That is only in Adventure, but Canterlot Citizens don't count against home limits, so, you can still have those. That's pretty good. There is a lot of disruption here, too. Like, I think one of the things that makes Legion of Zoom, which is the name of this deck, just so good is Yellow has very cost-efficient methods of being able to confront and start face-offs early, since you can just turn a lot of your characters sideways. and contribute their power towards problems. You've got your Yonas, you've got your Canterlot citizens, you've got your Nurturing Nature with Staff of Sicanus, and you've also got Birds of a Feather that can make a bunch of tokens at immediate speed, and that's all great. But it's not just friends. You've also got this suite of resources that build so much value for you and can disrupt the opponents pretty significantly with Spooky Ruins. And then a lot of bounce. 3 Kind Ponies, 3 Yonas still in this meta, 2 Sanctuary Scuffles, 3 Unsats, and 3 Frighten from Grogar and Stick. Like, there's a lot of ways of interacting with opposing friends in this deck.
Don't forget Queen Chrysalis.
Oh yeah, to move everything home. Very true.
She's just being obnoxious. It's especially good with the guard geese.
Mm-hmm. Just reuse Chrissy across multiple turns. Seems good. Or turn her face down, confront, flip her next turn, repeat.
Yeah, confronting quote-unquote through your troublemakers.
Kind of fun.
You could always play multiple troublemakers and sit there and mess with your opponent. I kind of like that. It sounds fun.
Just make sure you don't flip the wrong one face up first.
That's why
True.
you gotta look at them. You can look at your own
No.
face down cards.
No, just grab one and flip it up and hope it's the right one.
Alright, fair enough, I'm down.
Next list.
Let's see, we're up to 6th place, which will be Bugle, I believe.
Is it Shock Troops?
Yeah, this looks like a Bugle list here.
Yeah, it's Shock Troops.
This doesn't have enough white in it, actually. Where's the bodyguards?
Don't speak it into being. We got to avoid it for basically an entire tournament. Why did you do this?
Terrible in this list.
There's a lot of removal in here.
Is there?
I
don't see very much removal.
There's Diamond Tiara in conjunction with Minuet for friends that you steal, and then there's Daisy, Lily, and Roseluck to blow up opposing friends every time you exhaust them.
Okay, now is that enough to splash into an entirely other color?
I mean, if that color gives you bodyguards.
I don't think it's worth having bodyguard in here.
I mean, it's not. And it's not Smile times 3 Bugle, it's Smile times 2. Oh, the song is Smile times 3. I hate that abbreviation.
Just call it Smile XD.
Yes.
Anyway. Yeah, Shock Troops. Has ridiculous value that it generates from discounted cards like Tempest Shadow and Snack Stand.
Bonbon.
Yep.
And then we've got Daisy, Lily, and Roseluck, who are a trio to be concerned about.
They really are. I don't like them.
Why not? You do a bunch of exhausting.
Because they get rid of things.
You should run them.
But then I would have to be not a single color.
Correct.
I'd rather just... Well, preferably I'd run pink, and the second those show up, just be like, hi.
I'm incredibly rare.
You're about to have a sudden...
That's yellow.
An excessive amount of Trixie to deal with.
We saw a couple changes with this list from the last time it was run, with the addition of Maud Pie and Smolder as single, large, threatening targets. Which is probably a good adaptation, because previously, while the deck was capable of vomiting out its entire hand and refilling it in a single turn, oftentimes those bodies were very small and didn't really lead to much besides just drawing 5 cards deeper in your deck. Which is fun, but if you're not actually building power towards like a pink unity or dramatically advancing the board position, and you have to do that every single turn if you're DFOing frequently, then that can get challenging.
Yeah.
So having a few bodies that are just significantly larger, alongside cards like Rockhoof and Haven Bay, which also grow over time, is probably a good call.
And then can we talk about how much exhaustion does this have? It's a lot.
3 honest ponies, 3
Melted.
combo meals, 2 melted. Yeah, it's 8 exhaust. That's pretty good.
And then the flower trio can turn that into hard removal.
Yep. And that's just exhaustion for friends. That's not even counting resource exhaustion. As Beagle points out, 5 copies of Handy.
I hate Syzit.
Ah, it's great.
It removes my things. I don't like Syzit.
Handy is fun.
I like removing things. I don't like people removing my things.
You should play Shock Troops.
Exactly.
Next list.
Next list. Let's see, we've got Sea Pancake here. And so this is kind of spicy. We got a little bit of go fast. We got a little bit of point combo.
A little bit of fabulous.
We got a little bit of farm. And maybe a little bit of control too. Not bad. Let's play the metagame clock.
This OnlineCon was especially interesting for a lot of high-profile players because it had been, a couple of months since the last major constructed tournament. So everyone was trying to predict what the meta could look like at that particular point in time. And given that the last time we saw the meta, it was full of farm, and also had other big friends that were present, Pancake chose to go in this direction.
This
to
is
run points.
Yeah.
Permanents.
That's what this is. It's just look at all these points. We've got Pirate Rarity.
And steal your friends.
We've got the Tempest Seleno thing.
There's definitely some Reanimator hate going on here.
Oh, yeah. And Pancake specifically mentioned that as the reason for why they were running the 3 copies of Zesty Gourmand and the 2 copies of Fitted Peak. Because getting multiple tricorns out was just almost always a death sentence.
It's like, go ahead, put something in your discard pile, see what happens.
Oh, you've got a Luna Midnight in play? That's great. Mine.
It'd be a darn shame. Your Luna Midnight? No. Our Luna Midnight.
Correct.
I have pirated your Luna.
Arr.
And as Prism Light points out, a possible 14 points without, well, no, you can farm, obviously, and score that without confronting, but if you've got your main plus the 3 Tempest Shadows, that's 8, and then you've got Rarity Pony Pirate who needs you to confront, but you've got 3 copies of her as well, and It's Gonna Work can not only banish big friends that are already in play, but can also bring back your own troublemakers so you can farm them again.
This has some nice little synergies and little, I don't really want to call them combos, but yeah.
Yeah, synergies is a good word.
Synergistic.
Gonna leverage those paradigms.
Yeah.
Note, no legions in this particular list. Instead, they've been swapped out with Nightmare Moon and Queen Chrysalis.
Yeah, I don't think that's necessarily a terrible idea. Like, if you're gonna try to go faster farm, like, quickly, the new Overlords is not real good for that.
Yeah,
Well,
way
especially
to turn.
since your opponent will get their counter on a character first.
Right, and realistically, this probably wants about 3 counters worth before it faces off against new overlords. I don't think it makes sense.
Yeah, in blue, when you're mostly relying on dropping friends into play at immediate speed, it's worse.
Less good, yes.
And I guess you could say farm in general, since farm, not always, but will oftentimes go to beat up the troublemaker as soon as it's uncovered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to pay for those 3 points.
Yeah, turns out you got to pay for them in time now.
And that may or may not be worth it. We'll have to see.
Next, yep, okay. Let's see, we got into our top 4 now. This is Instagram's list. With a rather uncharacteristic yellow-blue list.
Is it uncharacteristic? He ran something similar to this at Babs, I think.
He does do this, but I think his Instagram's most notable characteristic is weird and interesting control decks. And it's always a joy to see what kind of weird thing he's come up with this time.
He came up with Vapor Trail.
And
Vapor Trails things.
Yeah, this list is especially funny when you take a look at the number of ways this has of interacting with opposing friends and realize that it is 2 copies of Unsatisfactory Work and 2 copies of Terrified Scream. And that's it, if you're not counting Vapor Trails Calling.
I think this wants to go fast.
Go fast it does.
This is a very zoom deck. Bugle says that this list has made him absolutely convinced that searching high and low is the correct starting problem for Stunning Wonder, and I don't necessarily disagree. If you have cards like Featherweight or Ruffled Pages or Loyal Pony alongside your Rushed Makeovers, which can lead you into Cloud Chaser and Flitter, and just all those other various shenanigans.
Your opponent runs
Skystar Chicken.
And
it's been a while since we have some Skystar Chicken. I need to bring this back.
So don't run Searching High and Low versus Skystar.
Pretty much.
Or do and be sad. Or I guess, well, your main will flip early and you won't have to do much to cause it.
That's true.
Yeah, that's actually a good point here. It's Skystar. Alright, you know what? I'm convinced. I think you're right. Like, that is a lose-lose battle for Skystar.
Skystar's like, yeah, I grabbed 2 points and
flipped your main and possibly sent one of your things. I've made a mistake.
Who really won here?
And then Skystar is sad.
And Fluttershy is happy, as everything should be.
Yeah, I can't really argue against that. The utility function of a sad Fluttershy is worth significantly less than a sad Skystar.
Look at all those dilemmas, too. Like, this is no messing around. I am ignoring your troublemakers if they come down. 11 dilemmas, 3 of which are Sanctuary construction.
I mean, I'll tell you this much. That's an answer to farm. It's just, like, how about you not?
Your answer to farm is who cares?
Get that mess out of here. No, I'm sick of looking at these cards with red borders. Yeah.
And a very low to the ground problem deck, too. In the past, when Instagram has run yellow-blue, we've seen larger bonus, larger confront problems like swaying the sea pony, but that's usually when they've been running Thorax or other yellow mains. This time, it's small stuff. Big points, small stuff.
shenanigans. Let's see, next list?
Yep.
Okay, third place. This is Elfin Pen, I believe, who has been making a rather stunning appearance in recent events. I forget how many TIA points Elfin Pen has, but they're up there. They're pretty far up there.
Invitational points? Or you mean the
T-
stack?
Yeah, Cursed's Invitational.
Okay, invitational points, yeah.
They have a pretty few. So
It's the party mares.
there's blue, there's pink. It does blue-pink things. Surprising.
Also Gallus and Silverstream.
I said it does blue-pink things, yes. Notable, it is, however, missing Wrath of Gilda.
It's because it's an aggro deck.
Why would you kill your own friends?
This
You
is
care
not
about your
control.
friends.
I don't disagree, but I still think that Wrath of Gilda is such a good card that even if you're running an aggro deck, you might want to think about putting a 1 of or a 2 of in there. Just because if that's what it takes to get you, those last 3 points, kind of worth.
Okay, so maybe if you're not expecting Reanimator or a bunch of Grogars in the meta, you drop the blindfolds to run 2 rats and you leave the on shuffle in so you can get your discard pile back in your deck if you have to, and otherwise rely on transformed Rainbow Dashes through Loyal Sea Pony and dismissing your own Spitfires so you can draw cards when they hit the discard pile. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's tech.
It is tech. It would do well versus Thorax.
I would be so sad.
I would probably be sad as well.
So you should definitely do this thing.
I actually would just rather run copies 4 through 6 of Discord Best Laid Plans so I can see Final Question 4 times over the course of the game.
Okay, I guess that's fair.
Apparently that happened, according to Bugle in chat.
Not in the main tournament, but yeah. That would be funny. You want to talk about combos. That's kind of busted. I like it.
Final question, I have to snipe that. Final question number 2, I have to snipe that one too.
Oh, it's fine. That's all of them, right?
Ah!
Surprise.
You forgot about third final question.
Yes, we've had 3. What about a 4th, though?
My whole problem deck is actually just final question. Judges let me do it. I don't know why.
Seems legit. Prism Light says Triad level busted.
I mean, look,
I'm sure it's fine.
If you
you're
can manage to make that consistent enough to get to Triad level busted, then props to you.
Then we'll have to see what we'll do about it. But you know what? We haven't seen it yet. So, be the change you wish to see in the world. By which I mean break it.
Remember, it's not about winning, it's about sending a message.
Right. Speaking of sending a message about how good blue is.
Do we need to look at these lists here?
It's not even the main color in the deck.
Do we need to look at these lists here?
List. They're identical.
Alright, fine. Okay, fine. Let's look at the second place deck.
Yep, that means I never get to talk about my deck this stream.
This
Nice.
this is what's going on here. This is my reaction.
Why does that one changeling... Is that one changeling Thorax pre-transformation, the one that looks all sad?
The one that's all sad and stuck to the ground is the traitor to the hive, yes. And the one in the foreground that's busy hissing at Starlight is Best Queen. Okay? Okay. Best changeling. There we go. This deck disappoints me.
Why?
It only has one changeling?
It
Yes,
has one changeling.
it has one changeling who is busy being a traitor to the hive.
And succeeding at it.
All hail the Bug Pony King.
All hail King Thorax. We'll start referring to him as King Thorax. We need to remember that. One small changeling can do a lot. I don't think that's how the song goes, but...
I refuse to recognize the traitor's regency.
Well, good thing you're not the only one here. So GP and I both ran this, and I think GP had more thought with this one. There was a lot of counter meta play going on.
Yeah. Again, this is not a traditional Thorax list. It doesn't have a lot of the tools that you might expect, or at least not in the quantities that you might expect. For example, there are no dilemmas in this deck. Also, there's a relatively high number of events. The reason for this was a prediction that farm was still going to be very present within the meta. And the determination that if farm is going to leave all these points out on the table,
why not collect them?
I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Exactly.
Well, no, you're not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. You're going to look a gift bug in the mouth.
Yep. And I'm going to beat them up. As fast as I can. 2 copies of Beat the Rush, 3 copies of Defend the Hive, 2 copies of Swinging Wonders, not to mention Rocket Scooter, which can make tokens at immediate speed.
This is excessive quantities of Go Fast for a yellow list.
This is Go Fast on a small number of characters, but the truth is, you really only need one. It's that one, right up there.
Don't.
You know the one I'm pointing at.
No.
It's that one.
Yeah, the others just have to exist somewhere on your side of the board.
You're talking about the little like purple and green dragon, right?
The one next to the purple and green dragon.
Oh, Cadence?
Yeah, no, we're talking about the purple and green dragon. I completely forgot Spike was even on that card.
Yep.
That's why this card can't be good. It's got Spike on it.
You can shift the frame like just a little to the right, and it's suddenly a Spike main.
I'd be on board with this.
And as Ivory points out, it doesn't really matter where the rest of your friends are. They just have to exist, because if Thorax gets big enough, you can easily just snipe opposing troublemakers.
I mean, you kind of care where some of them are, but overall, I'd say, yeah, Thorax just needs them to exist, and he does the work on his own.
Yeah. Plus, you've got cards like Raptor Razor, where, hey, if you've got a turn, thank you, opponent. I will take my extra 8 power on my main.
Plus
also,
8 power in play.
9 power in play.
Raptor Razor 2.
Then you've also got other shenanigans like Golden Horseshoe, which is 1 AT, move one of your characters at main phase speed, but Celestia help your opponent if they let that card exist for more than a turn, because it'll just start bouncing around to the highest priority target.
Yeah, this runs enough resources that I think it's not really feasible for your opponent to start nailing all of them. Like, yes, they can go and nail your sticks. Cool, good. Darn shame that I've got these golden horseshoes now.
Again, though, kind of a similar trend to what we saw with some of the other yellow decks, in that there's not that much interaction with opposing friends here. 2 Yonas, 2 Unsats, and some kind ponies if you get them out early.
The pony pirates.
Those were added late, and probably for good reason. Because sometimes you just need additional bodies.
What, pony pirate?
Yeah.
Flutter pirate.
And if you're going to end up getting immediate speed movement through Beat the Rush or Swinging Wonders or Defend the Hive, it is probably worth mentioning, by the way, that Defend the Hive, if you have the action tokens, should target someone other than Thorax, because it just gives Thorax Agile.
Yeah, that's an often overlooked thing, because you can, with that one thing for 3AT, you can probably DFO. Just anything.
If you have the AT to do it, then yeah, absolutely.
Now, with all that being said, there are a lot of cards in here that are specifically designed to take advantage of the opponent running farm, which means if farm becomes less prevalent or adapts to this, the deck is not going to do as well. This was a read for one particular moment in time. This read happened to be correct. Continentals is still 5 weeks away. There's a lot that can happen in that time.
Which means start building your nasty stuff now.
Now, this is when the gloves come off and people start building random combos.
Calm Soul says, let's all play farm. Well, I guess that means GP's running this. And then
Yes.
it turns out it was a prank and everyone runs whatever beats this.
Lol, I just got pranked. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, yeah, because you two are gonna have to come up with what we're running, aren't ya? Terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta think of a list. Anyway, that was the top 8 of online. There were other participants as well, who we greatly appreciated being there. Some interesting stuff. Joking Luna in particular had a really good troll, making everyone think that they were running puck wedgies when in reality they were running yellow-pink control.
That was a
funny.
very funny troll.
But no one would ever run puck wedgie.
He's ran puck wedgie before.
Yeah.
Like, you say this, but someday.
Don't listen to what anyone says, always commit to the bit.
Correct.
And if that bit is puck wedgie, then commit to it.
It's just show up somewhere and just be like, what's in your deck? Puck wedgie. Okay, what's in your discard? Puck wedgie. What's in your hand? Puck wedgie. Cool, discard the top 5 cards of your deck. Whatever. What's in your deck? 400,000 more puck wedgies.
If you can shuffle 400,000 puck wedgies without assistance, go for it.
Prove that it wasn't shuffled.
DQ, get out.
I mean, I think I'd probably laugh so hard that I'd just be like, you know what? Fine. You have 9,000. Your deck is composed entirely of puck wedgies. Okay. Have fun.
So, what are the big takeaways that we have?
Thorax is a traitor to the Hive.
Okay. There's a lot of colors that were present. We saw everything except purple in top 8.
Looking at the summary, I think we saw no purple. And then we go down the list and we go blue pink, yellow pink, mono orange, and then pink orange. So yeah, no purple. Just none.
Someone out there is working on that Royal Tutor list.
Maybe. I mean, to be perfectly fair, we all know what happens when you let purple have nice things.
Metas get destroyed.
It eats everything. And then Twilight becomes so powerful that she shoves herself into a book.
Yeah, that's about right.
Books, books, books.
Books, 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 books.
That pony sure does love books.
Well, we hope that everyone who participated enjoyed and had fun playing their decks and maybe learned something as a result as well, and can take that knowledge and bring it with them when they come out to EverFree in 5 weeks in
Well,
Washington.
Washington?
Seattle area and Bellevue specifically. So EverFree is in 5 weeks, which incidentally is basically just enough time to run a Coco. Like literally exactly just enough time to run a Coco.
So let's run a Coco.
So we're already, running a Coco.
Seems good.
Let's see. So the signups for this one are in a week from now, and due to the timetable, this will launch on the 24th. Whether or not it has, 8 people or whatever. So if you are interested in getting in a little bit more practice, go check out the Reddit or the announcements channel in Discord and sign up for that. Copy the link for you. There you go. Do note that due to the launch date of this, it should have the Legion of Doom ban effective, so, don't run that or swap it in as necessary.
Anything else we need to address?
Anyway, come to EverFree. So we've talked about this in a fair amount of detail in the game update post, but if you are participating in EverFree's Continental Tournament, you will be given a set of the Legion of Doom replacements, our new overlords. Regardless of whether or not you are running it, the reason we're doing this is so that you have the opportunity to not have any information about your deck leak during Continentals. There's some more detail in the document explaining exactly why we're doing this, but essentially, because it's such a high-tier tournament, we're trying to make absolutely certain that there are no mistakes made here. So, just keep that in mind.
Yeah, as Aura mentioned, you can review the document and the announcement regarding the ban and reformation for additional context.
Mm-hmm. Sign up for Coco, and anyway, come to EverFree. TrotCon's a terrible con. Fight me.
Ooh, shots fired.
Shots
I've
fired.
never even been to TrotCon to confirm that.
Yeah.
I don't need to go.
Well, now you never will, because we're never getting CG status.
I hope we never actually try to go, because we're probably going to get told no, because Aura's like, oh, I'm going to say mean things about TrotCon, even though you're a fan.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aura.
You're welcome.
That will about wrap up our discussion on this topic for today before we get permabanned from more cons in the future, because Aura feels like sharing his innermost thoughts.
AQLA is a bad con, Unicon is a bad con.
You're just naming dead cons.
RobbleCon.
I don't even remember what other. BrodyCon was pretty bad. So I literally went to BronyCon every year since 2012, but we're not going to mention that.
BernieCon. BernieCon was a good year.
Still one of my favorites.
Anyway, we would like to give a big shout out to all of our patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much for your regular support. If you aren't currently a patron, but you enjoy what we do, please consider donating. Doing so does enable us to continue making content like this and lets you earn some great perks as a bonus. If you have comments or questions you'd like to send our way, feel free to reach out to us through Facebook, Twitter, or email. If you're a patron, you can also chat live with us on Slack any day, anytime.
I would like to raise an exception to this. I've been trying to fix my sleep schedule and, well, failing horribly.
Correct. Therefore, the statement is still correct.
I don't actually know when I went to sleep last night, by which I mean this morning.
Finally, if you're looking to watch any of our previous videos, including tournament recordings, you can find them on our YouTube channel, which is linked just below the stream, and will be fixed after this stream is done. Sorry. With all that said, thank you to each and every one of our viewers, both here now and watching this recording later. We are, as always, Commentary is Magic. I am, as always, Grand Pause.
Big cheese.
Arca, and
Ivory Starlight, who's gonna go enjoy TrotCon, except TrotCon's over as of today.
Rip.
it's over like
Like the con was literally running this weekend.
6
Yeah.
hours ago.
Yes.
Something like that. I heard it was fun.
Yep. Anyway, come
See,
to EverFree.
TrotCon, we're not all bad, I promise.
Just don't give our CG status. It's fine.
Wow.
Bye.
But in the
I mean,
meantime, come to EverFree, goodbye.
You're probably not wrong. Bye!